All right, let's jump into this fascinating conversation between two giants, two totally different fields, right? Cristiano Ronaldo, arguably the biggest name in football, and MrBeast, the king of YouTube.
A real clash of titans. I mean, Ronaldo has over 1 billion Instagram followers.
1 billion. Just let that sink in for a second.
And then you have MrBeast commanding this massive YouTube audience. What happens when these two worlds collide?
Well, you can tell right away MrBeast was completely blown away by Ronaldo's, record-breaking YouTube debut.
60 million subscribers in a month.
60 million! That's insane!
It really shows you the power of, I guess you could say, existing fame in a new media landscape.
Right.
I mean, Ronaldo comes in, no real YouTube strategy, and just explodes. Makes you wonder if traditional media stardom could be a springboard to even greater online success.
Well, and Ronaldo isn't stopping there. His goal is to hit 1 billion YouTube subscribers.
You know.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That kind of ambition is incredible.
It really makes you think about, the potential shift in media power. A single person on YouTube with 1 billion subscribers. Could Ronaldo become like a media mogul?
That's a great question.
In his own right.
So MrBeast, being the YouTube expert that he is, gave Ronaldo some advice.
Okay.
He suggested, teaming up with other football stars for collaborations, do like post-game analyses, really leveraging that football knowledge to make engaging content.
Makes sense.
Right.
It's about adapting your expertise to that specific platform. Ronaldo is obviously brilliant on the field, but YouTube requires a different approach. MrBeast's advice is spot on. Translate that real-world skill into engaging online content.
Definitely. They both talk about their success, and they both kind of attributed it to a mix of, hard work and a little bit of disbelief.
Interesting.
It's like they're both almost surprised by how far they've come. Kind of refreshing, actually.
It's a good reminder, right, that even those at the top can be humbled by their achievements. They're not taking anything for granted.
Yeah, and they both admitted, neither of them are the best at celebrating milestones.
I feel that.
All right. This little nugget made me chuckle. MrBeast warned Ronaldo about using open-mouth thumbnails on YouTube. Apparently, fans think they're cringy.
Oh, that's funny.
Right. But it's an interesting insight. You have to know the nuances of each platform. A thumbnail, it can make or break you.
You got to speak the language of the audience.
MrBeast seemed to really get where Ronaldo was coming from when he talked about, not loving all the attention that comes with fame, that lack of privacy.
Right. Interesting contrast. MrBeast prefers the studio life, away from the public. Ronaldo's used to stadiums filled with screaming fans. They both crave an escape from that constant attention.
It really makes you realize that no matter how you get there, some things about fame are universal. And of course, MrBeast, he couldn't resist. He joked about Ronaldo filming his experience on a commercial flight, put it on YouTube.
Oh,
Imagine.
Instant viral sensation. But the logistics, the security privacy concerns.
The total media circus. Okay, let's switch gears. Talk about Ronaldo's future in football. 39 years old. He's constantly being compared to LeBron James in his longevity.
He is.
And just like LeBron, Ronaldo has this unwavering drive. He basically said he'd never retire. He even joked about playing at 90.
Wow.
I know. Ties back to that ambition we talked about, wanting to defy limits. It's not just the physical game either. Both Ronaldo and MrBeast talks about wanting to live past 100, banking on future technology to make it happen.
So they're both fascinated by this idea of pushing boundaries. Ronaldo with his athleticism, MrBeast with, pushing himself with these extreme challenges he does.
Speaking of which, how about this for a content philosophy? MrBeast basically said, quote, "My fans love watching me suffer."
That's a unique take.
It is, isn't it?
Huh.
It makes you wonder why that kind of content resonates with so many people.
It does.
Well, whatever it is, it's working. His real-life Squid Game video, something like 600 million views.
That's a lot.
And then that challenge with all the YouTubers trapped in a giant cube smashed records for views.
He's got this knack for creating these events, these cultural moments.
Yeah.
More than just videos.
So we've got this fascinating contrast. Ronaldo, top of his game in football, wants to conquer YouTube. And you have MrBeast, already king of that domain, offering advice.
Right.
What's the key takeaway here?
This is about traditional success meeting digital innovation. They both dominate their own spheres. It'll be interesting to see how they each adapt to this ever-changing media landscape.
Absolutely. And we've only just begun to explore this conversation. We'll delve deeper into their struggles with fame, their individual approaches to success, much more in part 2 of this deep dive.
I think it's really fascinating how their conversation sort of brought to light these shared experiences, despite their totally different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Ronaldo and MrBeast both talked about the downsides of fame, like that lack of privacy, constantly being in the public eye.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that these are real people dealing with real pressures. They make it look easy. MrBeast even said he prefers a more secluded life. Spends most of his time in his studio.
It makes you wonder how they balance their, public personas with that desire for a private life.
For sure.
You've got Ronaldo used to those massive stadiums chanting his name.
Right. Totally different worlds.
And MrBeast thriving in this controlled environment, but both craving an escape.
Yeah, I guess it just shows that no matter how you get there, that level of fame always comes with challenges. And remember when MrBeast suggested Ronaldo film his experience on a commercial flight?
Oh, man.
Imagine the chaos, the frenzy.
It'll break the internet instantly, but logistically, a total nightmare.
Oh, absolutely.
Security, fan frenzy, media circus.
For sure. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Talk about their individual approaches to what they do. Ronaldo, obviously being an athlete, it's all about pushing those physical limits.
Yeah, peak performance.
Right. And MrBeast, he's pushing boundaries in a completely different way. Constantly experimenting with content, coming up with those wild challenges.
Yeah, constantly pushing the envelope, redefining entertainment.
So they're both pushing limits, just in totally different arenas.
Right, exactly. Ronaldo on the football field, MrBeast in that digital landscape.
Exactly. But they both thrive on that challenge.
Absolutely. And both approaches require a certain fearlessness. Ronaldo, when he makes that daring move on the field.
Yeah.
MrBeast, when he decides to bury himself alive for a week. They're both stepping outside of that comfort zone.
It's that willingness to take risks, right? It sets them apart. And speaking of risks, did you catch what MrBeast said about his content philosophy? He said, "My fans love watching me suffer." Can you believe that?
Bold statement.
It is, but it's true. His most popular videos are usually the ones where he's enduring some hardship or discomfort.
It's interesting.
Like he's tapped into this fascination with seeing someone pushed to their absolute limits.
You think so?
It's a unique approach for sure, and it works. Remember his real-life Squid Game video?
Yeah.
That thing went viral in seconds.
He did. He's just got that instinct for what captures the internet's attention.
Yeah, and he's not afraid to go big. Remember that video where he challenged a bunch of YouTubers to stay inside a giant cube?
Oh, yeah, that one was wild.
I mean, that broke records for most views in 24 hours.
He understands the power of collaboration, that's for sure.
And he's a marketing genius.
Right. So on one hand, you have Ronaldo at the top of his game in football, wants to dominate YouTube. And on the other, you have MrBeast already ruling that world.
A fascinating dynamic.
So what are the bigger implications of this conversation?
I think it really highlights this intersection between traditional sports and digital media.
Yeah.
They're influencing each other in ways we haven't seen before.
Right.
And this gives us a glimpse into how those worlds are colliding.
And we've only just scratched the surface of this conversation.
There's still so much to explore. Their views on the future of their fields, their thoughts on the evolution of media itself. We'll cover it all in the final part of this deep dive. It's crazy to think this conversation shows how media and fame are changing. Ronaldo's a global icon, right?
Yeah.
But he built that through traditional sports media.
Yeah.
Now he's looking to YouTube, wants to connect with a new generation of fans.
And it makes sense, right? YouTube has a massive cultural influence, especially on younger people. For someone like Ronaldo, always thinking about his brand, tapping into that audience, it's a smart move.
It is. Then you have MrBeast. He's a product of that digital age, offering advice based on his own experience. Almost like a passing of the torch.
A little bit.
The legend learning from the YouTube innovator.
I think it's more than just the platform itself. MrBeast really emphasized collaboration, which is crucial in the YouTube world.
That's true. YouTube thrives on those networks of creators. So for Ronaldo, who's used to being the star player on the field,
the main attraction.
this whole collaboration thing, that's a shift.
Definitely a change of pace. But as MrBeast said, there's a huge opportunity there. Ronaldo can connect with other footballers, fans, in totally new ways.
And create content that goes way beyond just highlights.
Absolutely.
Fascinating to see how Ronaldo balances that existing fame with adapting to, how YouTube works, the culture there.
It'll be interesting for sure. Oh, and don't forget that little tidbit about Ronaldo's son, the little YouTube whiz kid.
Oh, yeah.
Shows how influential YouTube is to that younger generation.
A real generational shift. You've got Ronaldo at the top of the football world looking to his son for advice about YouTube.
Kind of funny when you think about it.
It is. Shows that no matter how successful you are, there's always something new to learn.
Exactly. You always have to stay curious, open to new ideas,
And adapt.
and adapt, right? Because media and technology, they never stop evolving.
So well put. As we wrap up this deep dive into this unexpected conversation, I think the biggest takeaway is that success, no matter the field, takes talent, adaptability, and you got to be ready to embrace new challenges.
Absolutely. Whether it's Ronaldo trying to conquer YouTube or MrBeast pushing the limits of online entertainment, they both have this drive to innovate, think strategically, and connect with their audience
Really connect.
in genuine ways.
It makes you wonder what other unexpected pairings are out there. What happens when those different worlds collide and those people at the top share their stories?
A great question to think about. The possibilities are limitless.
They really are. So keep exploring, keep learning, and always be open to those moments of connection, the ones that spark new ideas.
And challenge the way we think.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.